What you are watching is an ear being printed. Layer upon layer, minuscule droplets are deposited, building up the structure.
So this is someone's ear.
This would be printed to be someone's ear.
But much more can be done with 3D printers. In fact, the technology behind 3D printing has been used since the mid-1980s.
3D printing mirrors the revolution of mass media in terms of customization, interaction, and eventually resulting in a global change. To start, what exactly is 3D printing? It's a process for making a physical object from a three-dimensional digital model, typically by laying down many successive thin layers of material.
As applications of the technology expand and the prices drop, the first big implication is that more goods will be manufactured at or close to their point of purchase or consumption. You may be asking yourself, what does this have to do with 3D printing? With the implication of 3D printing, goods will be infinitely customizable. 3D printers will also allow consumers to print three-dimensional objects at home at any time that they desire. From jewelry and toys to even guns, 3D printing seems unlimited in what it can produce. Some of the newest items created by a 3D printer are, in fact, body parts. Like you see on this South African boy who was born with no fingers on his right hand. Printing a robo-hand is easy and cheap, and which is especially important for children who grow out of the prosthetic parts as quickly as they grow out of a new pair of shoes. Another example of how 3D printing is becoming useful in the medical field is the story of how 3D printing saved the life of 6-week-old Kiba Gianfido, a tracheomalacia survivor.
Tracheomalacia is collapse of the windpipe that makes it so a child is unable to breathe out.
Quite a few of the doctors said that he had a good chance of not leaving the hospital alive.
Even with the best medical treatments that were available, Kiba continued to have breathing difficulties. So when all else failed, Kiba's parents took the risk of stepping into the future by allowing doctors to implement 3D printing into the treatment of the infant's tracheomalacia, and it was a success.
This is the first time this procedure has been done anywhere in the world.
With the emergence of 3D printing, users will gain the ability to alter goods without retooling, but by simply tweaking the instructions in the software of the 3D printer. Consumers will be able to print everything from phone cases to jewelry to ceramics and home decor. In addition, they will also be able to print board game pieces, tools, and even food. In the medical field, 3D printers are being used to print prosthetic limbs and make patient-specific models of body parts. Surgeons can then use these as guides during reconstructive surgery.
In its simplest sense, 3D printing is the same as an additive manufacturing, which is building object layer by layer.
Today, in Manhattan, you can make your way into the 3D printing store. It's the only of its kind, and for $22,000, you can go home with your own 3D printer.
MakerBot is turning consumers into makers. It empowers people to learn all about manufacturing.
3D printing has reached a consumer-friendly price. New materials and techniques are making new things possible, and the internet is tying it all together and making 3D printing much easier and also allowing it to be used in any home, office or school around the world. Technology has developed to the point where we are rethinking industry. The next industrial revolution is opening up manufacturing to the whole world, where everyone can participate in the process and have the ability to enjoy 3D printing.